afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, honorable adjudicators. My name is Emira Luvena and I will be representing SMA NEGERI 15 Surabaya. Now, to give context towards this motion, for an example, Indonesia has a total maritime line area of 5.8 million square kilometers and the coastline of some 81,000 kilometers, and is rich in their maritime natural resources, meaning they have potential in this line. It is in line with interests of Jokowi in the G20 regarding blue economy, as Indonesia is the leading exporter of tuna until $5.71 billion in the end of 2022. Despite the fact that we have all those resources, or Indonesia has all those resources, Indonesia comes with their issues. The first issue is that they are in dispute in the border with Malaysia, Vietnam, and China on the Natuna border for the South China. It's getting more intense. Any negotiations almost 14 times have had no results. Some ships are still trespassing till this day and are just sent back to their original countries. So what do we, as the government side team, want? We want to protect our borders, sea borders, by doing these aggressive resolutions. Any attempt like bombing foreign ships and threatening them by adding more military security as justified. Now, to give framing before going into my arguments, first, both sides should agree that the dispute should be ended to make the border safe. Opposition should approve why the smooth way is more effective. Now, a second reason is that in both sides, the conflict and the tension are still happening. Opposition cannot argue the negotiations will make the tensions lower, as still the sentiment is better. Now, moving on to my arguments. Why should we use aggressive resolution rather than negotiation? First, natural resources are very exclusively owned by the particular country and area. That is to say that this geographical privilege that the Indonesia have been having more maritime area and all these sea resources. Why is this important? Indonesia can be potentially has a bargaining position to explore the sea and take the fish. For instance, Indonesia can explore tuna and become the first leading country of an export. We can compete with Japan, for an example. Our resources are unique and different from them. Another reason, it is time sensitive. That is to say, the fish takes time to reproduce. Even though it is renewable, it takes time to actually take them. Now, another reason to frame my first argument is that negotiation will worsen the condition. Why? First of all, it only prolongs the case. The origin country like China and Malaysia do not want to take serious actions. As to the illegal fishers, once they were deported, they could just sail back to Indonesia and make the same mistake once and over again. Now, moving on to another framing is that why aggressive resolution is at least better. We can have immediate action as the origin country is very just ignorant. We can prosecute them directly in Indonesia using our law. Another reason is that if we do the bombing, at least they lose their capital to go sail back to our border because it takes time to rebuild and it costs them a lot, which benefits us in the end. If opposition say that it will pollute the ocean because we're bombing it, it will not happen because they will be bombed in a spotted place. Now, moving on to another framing is that ASEAN is not a good third party to solve the dispute. Why? Because it's creating code and declaration of conduct, which does not solve the root of the problem. Ethic code only save their images in international eyes and makes us look weak. The sentiment is still there, and they aggressively still send their ships back silently. Another reason is that negotiation is weak in China, has a bargaining position over ASEAN. China has been ASEAN's largest trading partner since 2020. The total trade balance of China-ASEAN continues to increase and will reach $975.3 billion in 2022. What does it mean? China will most likely have a bargaining position to control the negotiation as their trade is so overwhelming. ASEAN has also trust issues with the Western like EU, the US, as their mining like nickel and charcoal are now hold on. Even if the case is crude palm oil that is banned, thus ASEAN will be weak on the negotiation as China will be their only alternative. Now, my second argument is that why aggressive resolution is better in the end. First, it is because China is now intensifying their military forces to push maritime countries like the Philippines. In February, the Philippines said one of its ships was hit by a laser from a Chinese vessel near the disputed Spratly Islands. What does this tell you? It tells us that they do not see partnering countries like ASEAN as their lucrative partner anymore. They see us as a threat because they prioritize the profit on the South China Sea rather than cooperation with the ASEAN itself. Second is that ASEAN or even Indonesia has strong military army, and this is the potential alternative to make. Why? We have Garuda Shield equipped with new warships. Second, the number of troops are more than 2,000 armies to keep the border as they were well trained. This is a good alternative to threaten them. That is why the only bargaining we have. That is why we agree with this motion should go on. Thank you very much.